Did you know that 80% of adults do not meet the guidelines for both aerobic and muscle strengthening activities? And more than 80% of adolescents do not do enough aerobic physical activity to meet the guidelines for youth? In 2013, research found adults in the following states to be most likely to report exercising 3 or more days a week for at least 30 minutes: Vermont, Hawaii, Montana, Alaska. The least likely were Delaware, West Virginia, and Alabama. The national average for regular exercise is 51.6%, according to fitness.gov. Children now spend more than 7.5 hours a day in front of a screen, a computer, or a TV. Nationwide, 25.6% of persons with a disability reported being physically inactive during a usual week, compared to 12.8% of those without disability. Only about 1 in 5 homes have parks within a half mile, and about the same number have a fitness or recreation center within that distance.
In 1 Corinthians 6 verse 19 to 20, it states, "What, know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which you have of God, and you are not your own? For you are bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's." There are approximately 640 skeletal muscles within the typical human, and almost every muscle constitutes one part of a pair of identical bilateral muscles found on both sides, resulting in approximately 320 pairs of muscles as presented in this article. Sitting too much, not just lack of exercise, is detrimental to cardiovascular health. Dallas, July 7, 2014, cardiologists at UT Southwestern Medical Center found that sedentary behaviors may lower cardiorespiratory fitness levels. New evidence suggests that 2 hours of sedentary behavior can be just as harmful as 20 minutes of exercise is beneficial. Physical exercise is any bodily activity that enhances or maintains physical fitness and overall health and wellness. It is performed for various reasons, including strengthening muscles and the cardiovascular system, honing athletic skills, weight loss or maintenance, and merely enjoyment. Frequent and regular physical exercise boosts the immune system and helps prevent the disease of affluence, such as heart disease, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. It may also help prevent depression, help to promote or maintain positive self-esteem, improve mental health generally, and can augment an individual's sex appeal or body image, which has been found to be linked with higher levels of self-esteem. Physical exercises are generally grouped into 3 types depending on the overall effect they have on the human body. Aerobic exercise is any physical activity that uses large muscle groups and causes your body to use more oxygen than it would while resting. The goal of aerobic exercise is to increase cardiovascular endurance. Examples of aerobic exercise include cycling, swimming, brisk walking, skipping rope, rowing, hiking, playing tennis, continuous training, and long, slow distance training. Anaerobic exercise is also called strength or resistance training and can firm, strengthen, and tone your muscles, as well as improve bone strength, balance, and coordination. Examples of strength moves are push-ups, lunges, and bicep curls using dumbbells. Anaerobic exercise also include weight training, functional training, eccentric training, interval training, sprinting, and high-intensity interval training, which increase short-term muscle strength. Flexibility exercises stretch and lengthen your muscles. Activities such as stretching help to improve joint flexibility and keep muscles limber. The goal is to improve the range of motion, which can reduce the chance of injury. Physical exercise can also include training that focuses on accuracy, agility, power, and speed. Sometimes the terms dynamic and static are used. Dynamic exercises, such as steady running, tend to produce a lowering of diastolic blood pressure during exercise due to the improved blood flow. Conversely, static exercise, such as weightlifting, can cause the systolic pressure to rise significantly during the exercise. There was consistent evidence from 27 observational studies that physical activity is associated with reduced all-cause, breast cancer specific and colon cancer specific mortality. Physical activity has been shown to be neuroprotective in many neurodegenerative and neuromuscular diseases. Evidence suggests that it reduces the risk of developing dementia. The Harmfull heart disease study followed 2,375 male subjects over 30 years and examined the association between regular physical exercise and dementia. The study found that men who exercised regularly had a 59% reduction in dementia when compared to men who didn't exercise. In addition, a 2008 review of cognitive enrichment therapies, strategies to slow or reverse cognitive decline, concluded that physical activity and aerobic exercise in particular enhances older adults' cognitive function. There are several possibilities for why exercise is beneficial for the brain. Examples are as follows: increasing the blood and oxygen flow to the brain, increasing growth factors that help neurogenesis and promote synaptic plasticity, possibly improving short and long-term memory, increasing chemicals in the brain that help cognition, such as dopamine, glutamate, norepinephrine, and serotonin. Physical exercise, particularly aerobic exercise, has pronounced long-term antidepressant effects and can produce euphoria in the short term. Reviews suggest that regular aerobic exercise at sufficient intensity and duration has comparable antidepressant efficacy to standard pharmaceutical antidepressants in treating depression. A 2010 review of published scientific research suggested that exercise generally improves sleep for most people and helps sleep disorders such as insomnia. The optimum time to exercise may be 4 to 8 hours before bedtime, though exercise at any time of day is beneficial, with the possible exception of heavy exercise taken shortly before bedtime, which may disturb sleep. There is, in any case, insufficient evidence to draw detailed conclusions about the relationship between exercise and sleep. Counsels on health. Another precious blessing is proper exercise. There are many indolent, inactive ones who are disinclined to physical labor or exercise because it wearies them. What if it does weary them? The reason why they become weary is that they do not strengthen their muscles by exercise. Therefore, they feel the least exertion. Invalid women and girls are better pleased to busy themselves with light employment as crocheting, embroidering, or making tatting than to engage in physical labor. If invalids would recover health, they should not discontinue physical exercise, for they will thus increase muscular weakness and general debility. Bind up the arm and permit it to remain useless, even for a few weeks, then free it from its bondage and you will discover that it is weaker than the one you have been using moderately during the same time. Inactivity produces the same effect upon the whole muscular system. The blood is not enabled to expel the impurities as it would if active circulation were induced by exercise. When the weather will permit, all who can possibly do so ought to walk in the open air every day, summer and winter. But the clothing should be suitable for the exercise and the feet should be well protected. A walk even in winter would be more beneficial to the health than all the medicine the doctors may prescribe. For those who can walk, walking is preferable to riding. The muscles and veins are enabled better to perform their work. There will be increased vitality, which is so necessary to health. The lungs will have needful action. for it is impossible to go out in the bracing air of a winter's morning without inflating the lungs.
Thank you very much for joining us at Seven Lamps Ministries. This documentary is based on exercise and the need for exercise. I'm going to be interviewing Tiffany.
Yes.
And what is your full name?
Tiffany Otieno.
Tiffany Otieno, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, and you have a phenomenal testimony about losing weight and exercise and even your diet. So tell me, how did exercise play a role in you losing weight?
Growing up as a child, I grew up Adventist, and my mom was very familiar with the health message and all that. We never took medications for anything as a child. We would take teaspoons of cod liver oil, drink, beetroot juice and all that. We were not familiar with anything that was, man-made in the stores and things like that. Until after I got to high school, when I had my own money and I was able to buy these things. And I bought them and I liked them. So I bought them and I indulged in them and I overate. And that's when my weight got out of control. I was very unhealthy. I wasn't exercising and I was overeating and in fact, college I realized I had to do something about it. So I started with walking.
Okay.
And there was a 3-mile track on campus.
Okay.
So we would walk around that every evening after classes. We would walk around that before worship. And we started with that, and then after that we would walk some, run 2 light poles, run 2 light poles, and we did that for a while. And after that we just added running and jogging more into it, and that's how it started.
Awesome. And then from then you started losing weight, noticing your health getting better.
Exactly. And I started exercising more at first, and I hadn't really changed my diet.
Okay.
So I was exercising, which was a difference, of course. I was staying physically active, of course, doing more than my regular routine. I tried to take stairs as much as I can, walk and run. If I could walk to, further out classes instead of driving there like most people would, I would do that instead. And then I started trying to incorporate back the healthy things that I had learned back from childhood back into my regular routine. So both of those together is what really happened.
Awesome, that is good. So how did exercise help you to become healthier?
I could tell my body, like when I would exercise during the day, I would have a lot more energy. I would stay awake while studying. Usually, after I eat, I would get tired and I would go straight to sleep. But once I got more physical and got outside, got that fresh air and was outside and exercising, get my heart rate up, then I was able to stay awake and study for longer hours, read the Bible for longer hours and things like that. And I was more attentive in classes and worship and things like that. So it helped me with my energy levels. It helped me eat a lot less than what I was eating. So even though I wasn't eating the healthiest at first, I wasn't eating as much because I was working out and exercising. I didn't really want to be tired and heavy for when I went to go exercise and work out. So.
Awesome. Okay. So if you knew someone that was struggling with even the thought of exercising, what advice would you give them, especially if they're having issues with health and having weight problems and they have this apprehension towards exercise because it's something that would bring like strain, or they're too lazy, or it'll burden them. What advice would you give them?
I would say to start slow. So there's plenty of exercising and workouts that you can do. You can go outside to exercise. Lots of things that you could do in your home to exercise and even get your heart rate up. Lots of at-home exercises, squats, lifting, just things you could do at home. You can start there. Walking is it's something that you do every day without thinking about it, but just doing it a little bit more than what you're used to doing. That's a nice place to start. Walking, and then after that, speed walking. Speed walking is a great exercise. Sometimes it's even better than jogging or running. So I would speed walk, jogging, and then once you realize, oh, I'm doing this and I'm not as tired as I was when I started, let me see if I can do this much more or go a little bit further than what I was doing yesterday or last week. And then you start setting goals. You're not always going to want to do it. I mean, even now, sometimes I'm like, I know I need to go to the gym, or I know I need to go outside and work out, but I don't feel like it.
Okay.
But once you could get past that and just get outside and actually do it, you'll realize that you're staying outside and you're actually enjoying it, and you'll feel much better once you're done.
Awesome.
So the hardest part is getting yourself to start, but once you start, I mean, it's great after that.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
My wife also, she's gone through a journey to where she changed her diet and she also exercised, and it also benefited her. And maybe the next time when we do a show about health, you guys can team up and do something and present something. Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe may you be blessed, and we'll have you next time with my wife.
Thank you so much.